All right, we all want to step up to the golf ball on a nice par 5 like this and be 100% positive that our golf ball is going right down in the center of the fairway, crushed. Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the misconceptions out there about hitting it straight, how actually hitting purposely fades and draws, learning how to shape shots, and this is for 20 handicappers, 25 handicappers, beginning players, all the way down to scratch players. If you learn to hit these shots and go over the real deal that I'm going to talk about in this video, you will hit the ball straighter. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to dumb it down. I'm not going to simplify it. You're going to get the real instruction here. And if you apply this to just one range session, I promise you, you will hit the ball straighter. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got a lot of great content coming out for you this year. Tons of great videos. They're going to work on all aspects of your game. If you don't want to miss out, be sure to click that subscribe button. That's the only way you'll be notified when we come out with new videos. Also, click that thumbs up. That really helps us out a ton. Post your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. All right, so let's talk about how to straighten up these drives. Now, one of the worst things that you can do that's really going to make your drives not only shorter, but more errant, more crooked, is if we try to tighten up and guide our swing. So what ends up happening is we kind of go in this deadly spiral of we hit a bad shot. So let's say we make a nice swing, we're feeling confident, and we slice it over into the water here. Or let's say we snap hook it almost out of bounds or into the trees. Well, in the next hole, or maybe on this hole if we have to re-tee, we automatically think, all right, well, I'm going to tighten up. I'm going to try to guide this. I'm going to try to steer this club through contact a little bit more because I don't want to hit another bad shot. And what happens is you end up shortening up your swing. We don't make a full backswing. When we don't make a full backswing, now we're going to lose distance. And when we tighten it up, even though it feels like it may be in more control, what ends up happening is we second guess it, we guide it. We're using our conscious mind to try to steer it rather than letting our subconscious and our practice let that go and release through the shot. So you hit one bad shot, and that's bad enough, that hurts your score. But then we tighten up the swing, we lose some yardage, and our consistency and how straight we hit our drives doesn't even get any better. So what do we do from there? We hit another drive that's not very good. It's a little bit shorter and not very straight. And then we say, okay, well, I didn't shorten up enough. I got to go even more controlled, guide it even more, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Until eventually one day we say, the heck with it. I'm not even going to try to guide it anymore. You get to the range, you start to free yourself up a little bit, and then you start to hit some better shots, and it gets a little better just to repeat the cycle all over again. So let's talk about how to break this cycle. I'm going to give you real step-by-step drills to help you do this, not just ideas and theories. You go to the range, you follow these drills, you will start hitting them straighter. Now the first thing is, whenever we're hitting this golf ball, we need to release through the golf ball. One of the worst ideas that we can have is try to hit at the golf ball to guide it or steer it down the fairway. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and open up my body. I'm going to have my hips almost 45 degrees open when I'm at contact. I'm going to have my chest 20 or 30 degrees open at contact, and then everything is going to be releasing from there to what I call the straight line release. So from contact and through the ball, out to here to in front, my hips, my shoulders, everything is opening up. My hands and arms are all pointing to about that 45 degree in front position. That's what we call the straight line release in the top speed golf system. So if I go ahead and put a golf ball in front of the ball that I intend to hit, about 4 feet, that's the point that I'm trying to release towards. So if I tee up another one here, the last thing I want to do is try to steer or guide or hit that golf ball down the middle. I'm going to go ahead and swing freely on this golf ball. Let me go ahead and see if I got this on my target line. Yeah, it looks good right down the left side. I'm going to go ahead and swing freely toward this golf ball and let the club do the work. I'm going to trust that the releasing of this golf club is going to allow me to hit it straight. So I'm letting my body open up, I'm letting this club release through the golf ball, and let's see what happens here. See if I can get one down the middle of the fairway. There we go, right down the center of the fairway. Nice little fade. Just ended up in the right center, right side of the fairway. Great shot there. So I didn't try to guide that or steer that or have it go, any control on that. I just let it go ahead and swing. I trusted that if I let this club release in front of the golf ball, it's going to make things a lot easier. Now, we can't just stop there. That's the overarching idea. We can't control and guide. We have to free up the swing, let it release on in front like a straight line release. But from there, now we need to learn to control the face and the path. So am I swinging right and letting the face release to hit a draw? Am I swinging a little left like I did on that one and letting the face stay open to hit a fade? And if we practice these, we're actually going to get better and better and better the more we practice them. It doesn't take a ton of time, just a couple of quick range sessions, and you're going to see a noticeable improvement. So let me grab my flight scope here, and let's talk about some of these angles that we're going to look at to control face and path. Now what I want to see here is I want to see if I'm going to hit a fade, I want my path, or the direction I'm swinging, to go a little bit to the left. And I want my face to be slightly open as that's happening. Just a little tiny bit goes a long way. If I want to play a draw, I want to come from the inside and let that face release and turn on over. Now here's the thing, everybody knows that, but everybody's been practicing it the wrong way. All the motor learning research out there has shown some really good secrets that we can do to speed up our practice and our improvement. If you want to hit it straight, what we have to do is actually practice something called interleaving or random or variable practice, meaning that I'm purposely going to try to hit a draw, and then I'm purposely going to try to hit a fade. Now we're going to tie that in with a feeling of releasing the golf club rather than steering it, and it's going to make it even easier. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and just set up a tee on the ground, and before I ever hit a golf ball, I'm just going to swing with my left hand only. Now again, this is going to help me to relieve some of the tension in my swing. I'm not really going to tighten up and try to guide that through there. I don't have a lot of strength when I'm just swinging one arm only. So I have to get the momentum of the club working kind of inside out. So I can see this club's coming from the inside and then releasing on over. Look how the club face is going to turn all the way on over. Now like it's almost pointing back down to the ground. I'm really exaggerating here. That would be a big draw type swing. So what I'm going to do is just put my right arm behind my back, and I'm going to do 5 swings, really big draw, come from the inside, let that face release, and I just want to let the momentum of the club do the work. I'm not trying to steer it and turn it over. I'm trying to position myself in a way and let the momentum of the club swing in a way that it naturally is going to go ahead and turn on over, and I'm visualizing that ball starting out here and really drawing back to the left. Now it's really important to do these practice swings first and get the feel of that kind of effortless draw before we go into actually hitting a golf ball. If we rush straight into hitting a golf ball, we're going to tend to just do what we've always done. So 5 swings hitting that draw with our left hand, same thing with the right hand. 5 swings, right arm only, same thing. I'm letting that club come from the inside, and I want to feel the momentum of the club rolling on over. Look at the face again there, really turning over. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do 5 of these swings where I really focus on clipping the tee, and I'm letting the momentum of the club turn on over. Now, if you do one and it feels like, oh man, I felt like I was going to fade that one, go ahead and do another one until you get 5 good ones. So here, when I make this swing, that one felt like a nice draw. The one before, I felt like I left the face open just a little bit. Now, you'll be surprised how good your feel is. I bet you know immediately if you're going to hit a fade or a draw just by what you felt when you're swinging and clipping that tee. It's pretty amazing that your body is that in tune, but it really can be. So we're going to do 5 good left arm, 5 good right arm, and now we're going to go ahead and set up this ball and try to have that same free-flowing feeling, and I'm going to try to hit a nice draw here, kind of down around the corner on this par 5. Let's try it out. There we go. Now I took that one right around the corner there, started a little left, went even a little bit more left. That's perfect. And if we look at, again, we're not trying to hit these dead straight yet. That comes with a little bit more practice from this. But that one, we'll see my path was a little bit inside out, 1.6 to the right. And because I went left, I went ahead and released that face even a little bit more. My face was 5 degrees to the left. So my face is really closing down or releasing, like we talked about, in relationship to my path. So you're going to do 5 practice swings, hit a couple balls until you really get one to turn over quite a bit. I don't want to hit a 2 or 3 yard draw. I really want to get that thing turning on over. Now from there, the cool thing is now your body starts to have a little bit of a muscle memory. I know muscle memory isn't really the right word, but it starts to build a little bit of coordination with hitting that draw. The way that you can mess this up, some of the things you want to guard against, I don't want to hit just a little tiny bit of a curvature, and I don't want to skip over the drills and rush through them to try to get to the end. We got to really take our time hitting these draws, then we're going to hit the fades, then we'll be able to straighten it out. Now the second piece on there, exact same thing, get rid of the golf ball. Now we're going to do fade swings. So now I'm going to feel like I swing a little left, so my body opens up. Again, I'm releasing on out in front, but I feel like as that club releases, so you can see the club shaft itself is releasing to our straight line release, but the face, instead of it really turning on over, is going to go ahead and stay a little bit more open. So the face is coming a bit more this way. Now this usually isn't too much trouble for most players. Most players tend to cut the ball a little bit too much, but we're going to still practice this. A little bit goes a long way. So if you start to hit a decent amount of cut, then you can really tone it down. So again, I'm going to the straight line release. I'm just feeling like I'm swinging a little left. And when that club shaft releases, the face is just staying a little bit open. So again, I'm gonna do 5 what feel like they'd be a nice fade with my left hand only. Then I'm gonna do the same thing with my right arm only. 5 what feel like it would be a nice fade. I'm not trying to guide it, I'm not trying to steer it. I'm trying to get the feeling of the momentum of the club moving through impact correctly. Now, once I've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and try to hit that nice fade out there. Lining up a little bit left, letting that club release on and out in front. I'm not steering it at all. There we go, and cut it right back into the middle of the fairway. So we'll see on this one, if I look on my flight scope, I should see my path or the direction I was swinging a little more left and my face a little bit more open. So my path was almost 9.8 degrees left, 10 degrees left. My face was 4.1 to the right, or meaning it's open to the direction I was swinging. So those are all basically just a big fancy way of saying, look, if you try to hit it straight and you try to guide it, it's never gonna work. That's not the way that you can get really straight and accurate in golf. What we have to do to get straight is give up our feeling of control. Get used to letting the momentum of the club head hit some draws, the momentum of the club head hit some fades. So now I've found both ends of the spectrum, and now it's time to tone those down and get the straight ones here. So we got to really spend a little bit more effort getting ready for these. Now we're ready for the straight shots. Same thing, I'm just going to use 2 hands this time. So take the ball off the tee. I'm using this tee, and now I'm going to feel like I'm swinging squarely and releasing the club to the straight line release. It's not open like my fade. It's not really closing down a ton like my draw. It's just releasing at about a 45-degree angle there for the nice straight shot. So again, I'm gonna swing 5 times, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what's gonna feel like a nice straight shot? And I'm gonna clip that tee. Okay, that to me felt like a little bit of a fade. So I need to go ahead and release my hands a bit more, let the momentum of that club roll on over a bit more, and you'll be surprised how accurate you are at this. Let's try another one out. There we go, that felt like a nice draw. So again, while you're on the driving range, making a few practice swings, I don't want to throw the golf ball down there and hit golf ball after golf ball after golf ball, because my tendency will be to tighten up and try to control. I got to clip those tees to let loose and feel like the club head is swinging freely. So now I'm finding that middle zone. Let's see if I can hit a fairly straight one here. Little bit left on that one. So again, when I felt like I released it, I just did a little bit too much. And you may find that same thing for yourself. It's not saying that every single one is going to be dead straight when you first start this, but you're going to hit most of them straight after you get a little bit more practice with it. So let's give another one a whirl. There we go, and that one was straight as a string, maybe 2-3 yards of fade on it, and it felt pretty good. So that's the real secret there. Everybody wants to rush right into hitting the straight shot. We've got to learn to control this club and how it releases. If I can work on this individually with each arm and get the momentum swinging in the right direction, now it's going to be very easy to find the center of the fairway. Try these drills out. I guarantee you, you'll like where you end up at the end of these if you follow my directions. Now, we touched very briefly on one of the most important parts of the swing in this video, and that's what I call the straight line release. Now, I actually measured over 50 major winners, and you'll be surprised to find out not a single one of those players released the club at the golf ball. They didn't even release it 10 or 15 degrees in front of the golf ball. All those golfers were releasing the club well out in here, averaging almost 40 to 45 degrees in front of the golf ball when they finally released. Now, one of my best videos that I've ever made on the straight line release, I'm going to play here in a second. All you need to do to watch this entire thing, to pair up with what we talked about today, is click on the card or the link down below in the description. You'll get instant access to that video. Let's go and get started. a common misconception I see is that we want to create lag and we just want to hold that lag all the way on through contact and get as much lag as we can coming through contact, and that's simply not true. In the release section, we're going to talk about how to turn that lag into energy, how to turn that into speed so that you can hit it very far and do it, like we mentioned, without hardly any effort at all. And as we're coming through contact, we're going to fully release this angle as we're about 45 past contact. So if I draw, a 45-degree angle, I should be looking at both arms, nice and straight, the club splitting those arms, so that by releasing the club, by getting this angle to release as we're coming through contact, that's what's going to create the speed. Our hands are moving a very short distance, our club is moving a very long distance through contact, and it creates that whip-like effect.
Very different swings hitting the exact same position. So first let's take a look at Dustin Johnson releasing the club 45 past. And the reason we're going to see such different swings producing similar positions is that this is the real physics of how this has to happen. Here we're looking at Sergio Garcia. Again, we're going to see tons